morning, everyone. Just a couple of minutes before noon, Ron Nicoletti here. It is Sunday at Gulfstream Park, fast main track, firm turf course. What an exciting day yesterday turned out. Of course, mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six, and we had payout of $313,000. And there were five or six horses alive going to the last race for singles. Someone would have taken down about $3 million, whatever it was, minus the takeout and all that stuff. But it would have been around $3 million. But still, somebody hit it for $303,000 and $313,000. And the big news, of course, later on today, we seeded the Rainbow Six with $100,000, but we have a nice carryover in the late pick five of $140,000. Got to be at least $500,000 in that pool. That's a little later on. So fast main track today, firm turf course, no rain expected. Got that big, nice jackpot guarantee, I should say, carryover in the late pick five and the guarantee in the Rainbow Six. So taking care of all the early business. So let's dive right into this card with the fast main track. Love the races when they start on the turf each and every day. This one's a mile on the grass, made in Kelly Emer's estate bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And the current 2-1 favorite in the horse I'll start my analysis with is the number 7 Seasong, who's dropping to the 25 level today, stretching out to the mile after chasing some pretty glib early fractions last time out, weakening to finish fourth. That was against special weight competition, going 5 furlongs. So you would just think this order of the fact that stretching out is going to be a major piece of the pace puzzle this afternoon, especially when stretching out to the mile after chasing those really swift fractions last time out. A couple other horses, one that's 9-1 right up there now, and very early in the wagering is the number 6 Barola. And you would think this one would have the screws tightened after returning from about a 5-month layoff to finish an even fifth at this level in distance. Kathleen O'Connell, Miguel Vasquez handling the second start off the bench. Kathleen just been going great guns. So this horse, second off the bench, I think could be a player in here. And you're going to probably get a little bit of a price because it looks like, at least the way the board looks now, Seasong might be the favorite. And you got the 8 horse up here who's currently up there at 3-1. And then this Forbidden Dream was wheeling back after closing from really far back last time. I had to come within ahead of exiting the maiden ranks at this level in the distance. Rodolfo Garcia has Marcos Meneses atop this daughter of Justice Dream, of course, by curling. So for me in race number 1, 7, 6, and number 8, I'm going to throw the 1 in 2 there for my long shot. We'll talk about that as we go between the races and a little later on. Race number 2 this afternoon on the main track. It's 7 furlongs, claiming fillies, 3-year-olds of fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward. And a couple of horses in that last race had a really good battle. I'm alluding to the Beyond the Heavenly and Dinner at 5. So let's go back and revisit their last race. We're going to pick it up from the 3/16 pole when they battle to the wire. And you'll see right there the number 3 is Dinner at 5. And the number 1, Beyond Heavenly, will be the one again today, dueling it out in the stretch. It was just a good horse race, coming down. So, Dinner at 5 has got the lead, but Beyond Heavenly would not give up. These two ding-dong battled right to the wire. So it was a very good performance. And you can see as they go to the wire, that is a good horse race. So we'll go with Beyond Heavenly on top of our ticket today, who goes to the Victor Barboza Jr. barn after the claim. Duel through it, as you saw, and was able to hold on gamely to notch her third victory and keep her record, what I like, important, at 7 furlongs, unblemished. 2 races at that tricky 7 furlong distance with 2 wins. Also have a stat we want to show you on Mr. Victor Barboza Jr. And this one, Beyond Heavenly, first start off the claim, winner last time out. Over the last 2 years, he's 9 for 19, 47%, 74% in the money. 283 is the return of return of investment. So that is a redonkulous stat up there with Beyond Heavenly. But how game was Dinner at 5 last time out? Going to be the 6 today. This one's going to break from the outside after dueling, as you saw in that last race, and just getting edge at the wire. I think the rematch is going to be fun to watch between these two. Beyond Heavenly changing barns. The number 3 Grand Reserve, if you like Victor Barboza Jr. with the 1 Beyond Heavenly, he's got another horse in here, and this one is stepping up and turning back. Returned from a 17-month layoff to shake off early pressure and really crushed the field of 6,252 lifetime claimers going a mile. So do we get the old adage of the longer price of the uncoupled entry? We'll see how race 2 plays out. We're going to flip the page. And go to race number 3 this afternoon. It's a 5-furlong turf event, maiden special weight, 3-year-olds and up. Only 2 early scratches on the card today. One coming in the 4th and one is in the last and 11th. And, we have a couple of main track only still in, but they'll probably come out because it's going to be a beautiful day here in South Florida. Getting into this 3rd race, as I mentioned, this 5-furlong sprint. Number 2, Action Seeker. This is great. This is a great race if you like breeding in here, and you got an excellent trainer with Louis Roussel III. One of his horses, Action Seeker, is from Louis Roussel, is a beautifully bred $375,000 son of a Candy Ride. He's really working forwardly for his debut. He gets Lasix, getting jockey Edwin Gonzalez for this assignment. The other firster from Louis Roussel is Overdue Honor, and this one is a gelded son of Uncle Mo, debuting on the grass. But this one finished 3rd, sprinting on the dirt. He's a 4-year-old, and he's working bullets for the return, so he looks pretty good in there. So those are the 2 from Louis Roussel that are bred to be any types, and Louis just having a fantastic meeting here this summer. I sing his praises all the time. But I wanted to go back and show you the performance of the number 6 today, but the number 2 that day, La Urbana. We're going to pick it up from the 316 pool home when she gets nailed late. And I think she ran a pretty good race in here. She's the 8-5 favorite that afternoon, and she is that number 2 horse in there. You can just see her, fighting, and she just couldn't hold off Romantic Tale through the stretch, but it was a good performance. Another one of these great races that came down just to the wire and just gets nipped at the wire. So the beaten favorite last time out, Rowan Crichton's got about 8 horses in it seems today. Wiz, the trainer of number 6, La Urbana. And then number 5, Tap Gold, is a half-brother to a 10-time turf winner, and that's my point exactly. I think my point exactly was 10 for 56 on the turf. Steps up to special weight. 4, Joe Orsino, finished 2nd against $40,000 maidens. Might be a lateral move today. 2, 7, 6, and 5 for me. Got a lot of nicely bred horses in that race. 4th race this afternoon, back on the dirt, 7 furlongs, maiden claiming, fillies and mares, 3 and up, $12,500. The word that comes to mind is a wide open race. I mean, it's just wide open in this one. Here's where we got that one scratch of the 7 horse, so we're dealing with a 6-horse field. I went with number 3, Caladad, who's dropping to the 12-5 level on the main track after returning from the layoff and failing really to get involved. But that was against 25 maidens going a mile on the turf. Antonio Sano, Edgar Zayas, surface switch today. I like the connections. It's so wide open here, and this is the kind of races that Antonio Sano wins. So I put 3, Caladad, on top of my ticket. The number 1 horse in here, Kenya Sun, is hoping to get away trouble-free after breaking poorly, and that caused her to get parked 6 wide in that race and was a losing cause against Simla going 6.5 furlongs. So maybe you make a case with a clean break. Kenya Sun can be there. And then the number 6, Stevie Lynn, who's a late closing 3rd in her mile debut on the main track, is going back to the dirt today, after failing to get tracked against those 25 maidens, going 1 mile on the grass. So a wide open affair. 3, 1, and 6 for me. Scratch the number 7. We'll go to the 5th race this afternoon, and the 5th race is a 5-furlong turf event claiming fillies 3-year-olds or fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. Nice tag of 35 down to 25. I went with the 5, Ladies' Choice, who's 2 for 4 in the money at the distance. We're going to cut back in the first start since going up and setting the pace and weakening to finish 5th. That was going a mile. It was against state-bred optional claimers, who was back during July, coming off the bench for trainer Mike Yates this afternoon. You got Miguel Vasquez returning on this order of Cajun Breeze. And if you look in the dictionary under Cajun Breeze, right next to it is Mike Yates. He does a fantastic job with the progeny of Cajun Breeze. So, just going to see how this horse runs today. Ladies' Choice in there, I believe, might be 3rd choice on the morning line. The favorite is the number 7 in that race, the morning line favorite, I should say. Don't Push Your Luck, who goes to the Rohan Crichton barn after the claim and steps up today after dueling throughout and coming win just a head short when facing $20,000 2 lifetime claimers back in May. So coming off the bench this afternoon. But the barn is pretty good, 21% with new claims. And you got Chantal Sutherland, who's riding for everybody now because she's just riding in great form. So she'll be riding for Rohan Crichton this afternoon on number 7, Don't Put Your Luck. Domineering This is another one from Rowan Crichton. If you remember a little earlier, I told you he's got a lot of horses entered today. This is a Daughter of Dominance who cuts back to 5 furlongs today after holding on to defeat those 20 claimers, going 7.5 furlongs. Edwin Gonzalez rises. Chantal's going to move to Don't Push Your Luck. So we'll see, playing musical jockeys there, who comes out right if indeed they do win it, or maybe they run 1-2 in that race. So 5, 7, and 6 for me. Going to take a short break. When we come back, I'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
In the two path. Ground by first inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. We're on Nicoletti, a little past noon. We got a fast main track, firm turf course. We got a 6th race that's 5.5 furlongs, maiden claiming 2-year-olds $50,000. Starts the Rainbow 6 this afternoon. Going to show you my ticket. And what a day yesterday. I mean, there was a couple of bombers in the Rainbow 6. There was a couple of odds-on horses. And if you put it together, you got $313,000. I went back to my $43.20 ticket. Got lots of coverage today because I have a single. In race number 6, I went with Skipperini, One More Score, and Uranium. In race number 7 this afternoon on the turf, I went with Starry Jalen. I'm going to show you a video of that horse. Champina is the number 4, and the number 8, She Rocks My Socks. In race number 8, 3 deep again. I think a lot of people are going to be getting Caffeine Rush and Foolish Heart, who's the 5, but I also used the 3 Battle Cry. Single today is Adorable Ada, who drops today for Carlos David. Just think it's a perfect spot. Wanted to get some coverage in the final couple of races. And race number 10 will go to 2 horses in there with the 3 and the 6. Hero Tiger's like 7-5 on the morning line. Race number 11, I got a 12-1 shot with Fabiola Princess. And I got, I think, a 20-1 to shot with Syllabus. And I also used the Defendant. So I think that race is pretty wide open. I used 4 horses in that particular race. So trying to maybe knock some people out in the final leg. If I can get there and get my single home in race number 9, I think I got a good shot. Getting back to race number 6, 5.5 furlongs, maiden claiming 2-year-olds, 50,000. Went with the 7 Skipperini. This one is hoping to save more firepower for the stretch drive after finishing a pressured, after setting a pressured pace, I should say, before weakening to finish 3rd at this level and distance. Pete Wazalik Jr. is the trainer. Luca Panici in the saddle. It's a pretty wide open race, so you might want to use as many as you can here when you're kicking off your Rainbow 6 ticket. And this one, another horse that I used was the 6 One More Score. This one dropping to the $50,000 level after showing some early interest in fading behind it was a really impressive first out winner. I like that horse, King Cab. That was under special weight conditions. Fernando Abreu has Sammy Camacho named to ride. So if you key off the competition in that race, I think you have to give a second look to number 6, One More Score. Then Uranium is the son of Unified debuting for Joe Orsino. And I just think it's a good spot for a first-time starter. So like I said, if you have a couple of singles like me, maybe go a little deeper in this opening leg of the Rainbow 6. By the way, $100,000 jackpot guaranteed pool. The big news today all over the country is the fact that we're going to have a $140,000 carryover going into the late pick 5, and if it's like before, and it certainly will be today, you can have as much as $800,000. It's a great bet this afternoon. And of course, you know all our pick 5s, late pick 5s carry over, but you got a chance to nail it today if you can put those 5 winners together. And it's going to kick off in race number 7, about 7.5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claiming fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and up $16,000. Easy, not from, I mean, I wanted to say one of my favorite favorite bets here, especially when you got those carryovers in the race. And I mentioned Starry Jalen, who's stretching out around 2 turns. This, I got to go back and show you this horse's last race. We're going to pick it up from the 316th pole. This is the number 6 that day. And there you're going to see Starry Jalen back there. And it's just, right at this point, it looks like, okay, he's trying to find a thing. And he's not going to do anything. And it actually gets out of the frame of the picture because he's so far back, when all of a sudden you're going to see him explode through the stretch. And here comes the number 6, Starry Jalen. And that's exactly what Pete said. Just almost got up there last time out. So I said, my analysis, close from like Hallandale Beach Boulevard, finished second. Not only did he finish second, turned out to be a pretty good race. Finished second in front of a pair of next out winners going 5 furlongs. It's interesting. It's a $62,000 Ohio-bred daughter of Cantharos. Certainly you would think off that performance with a little cleaner break, she'll be able to handle the distance. Boy, did she close strongly. But I also used the 4 Champina, who's dropping today to the 16 level, cutting back to the about 7.5 furlong distance after bumping at the start and failing to show much in her $25,000 debut going a mile. Leading trainer Safi Joseph Jr., he's solid with maidens making their second start, 24%, and he just has Edgar Zayas at the control. So I think all of those put together, after that sort of trouble start last time out, I think this horse is going to run weather. And good thing about Safi, he knows where to spot him, so dropping this horse right down to the 16 level. And then the number 8, nice name, She Rocks My Socks, is dropping into the maiden claiming ranks and going to stretch out and racing without the blinkers this afternoon after a pair of so-so turf sprints against special weight competition for trainer Herman Walensky. Edwin Gonzalez in the saddle this afternoon. So number 2, Starry Jalen, the 4, Campina, and the number 8, She Rocks My Socks. This is a race where the late pick 5 starts. Make sure you do your handicapping. Race number 8 this afternoon is a 5.5 furlong sprint, and it's claiming fillies 3-year-olds or fillies and mares, non-winners, fillies and mares 4 and up, non-winners of 2 in life. And as I mentioned, I think a lot of people are going to have interest in the 3 horses that I used in this race, and one of them being Caffeine Rush, who's on the inside. This one's going to turn back to 5.5 furlongs after opening and relinquishing a 4-length lead when fading to third against Similar. That was going 6.5 furlongs. Handicapping 101 sort of points out that this horse will run better at 5.5 furlongs. Elizabeth Dobles is the trainer. Lionel Reyes handling this inside definite speed threat. The number 5, Foolish Heart, is hoping for a clean start. This one sort of broke in the tangle. I went back and looked. It wasn't that bad. But then, after that little bit of a bad break, rushed up to attend the pace and faded to finish last. After that early trouble in that race, it's Carlos David, MSCL Jaramillo handling the turn back to 5.5 furlongs. So, did have trouble at the start. Maybe wasn't the worst trouble in the world, but certainly the turn back to 5.5. And once you see Carlos David and MSCL Jaramillo hooking up, you got to give it a second look. And then the number 3 horse is the morning line favorite, Battle Cry, is making her first start since rallying to come within the head. That was almost a defeating state-bred allowance run, is going 7 furlongs back in June for Angel Rodriguez, and he's got Edwin Gonzalez named to ride. So this one coming off the little bit of the bench. So Caffeine Rush, the 1, the 5, Foolish Heart, and the number 3, Battle Cry. As you remember, if you didn't remember, the single in my Rainbow Six is going to come here in race number 9. Really nice betting race. So it's just the way I had to find a single somewhere. So 1 mile on the turf, claim is fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. My best bet on the card is Adorable Ada. Is dropping to the 12.5 level, which we like. Followed, I thought, a well-meant second-place finish against 20 claimers. That was 2 starts back, and with a late closing 5th. But that was a really competitive group of $16,000 starter allowance runners going a mile in the 16th last time out. Carlos David, I think, spots this mare perfectly against this level of competition, and thus I'm taking my shot of trying to single this horse in my Rainbow Six, excuse me. I got the pick 5 on my mind. And number 5, Little Bit Good, is another horse who's talking about a barn that's been doing good. That is moving to the Bobby DeBona barn after the claim. This one rallied between horses to beat this level of competition. That was going 8.5 furlongs. The barn is solid with 24% new claims. Chantel Sutherland handling the turn back to a mile. This is the horse that has me afraid of with my single in there. And then the number 2 horse in here, Pearlescent, who was visually impressive. Well, let's go back and show you. We're going to pick this horse's races up from the 316 pole home. When you'll see her right there. She is the number 1 horse that day, Pearlescent. And just sit back and watch this. You go, well, she's got to carve out some kind of trip in here. We'll see what happens. And then he turns on the afterburners and just comes through the stretch. And it looked like the horse on the lead was not slowing down. And this one went right by, just gobbled up the ground to win it. And that was, to defeat those 12-5 claimers. At this mile distance for Elizabeth Dobles, Edgard Zayas in the saddle going for 2 in a row. And Edgard, of course, a master at judging pace. And that one really closed stoutly to win that race. So race number 9 is the adorable Ida, Little Bit Good, and Pearlescent. Going to race number 10 on our 11-race card. It's a 6-furlong sprint. These are claimers, 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3, or a race since March 21st, 16,000 down to 14. So you got triple conditions in this race. And with that said, the big favorite, I think, is going to be the 6 Hero Tiger. And you would think this one is going to be primed and ready to score after responding to both a drop down and a surface switch with a second-place finish against Similar. That was going 5.5 furlongs for Mr. Gilberto Zerpa. He's got Edward Gonzalez handling second start back from a 2-month freshening. So all those things put together smells like the morning line favorite. We'll see how that one runs. What about the 3? Why Are You Awesome? Who's hoping to break trouble free after having he sort of had his head turned at the start prior to stalking the pace and finishing 3rd behind aforementioned Hero Tiger last time out. This is a hard-knocking 10-year-old. He's making his 75th career start with Angel Arroyo at the controls. Diane Marici is the trainer. Boy, this horse, 10 years old, and he's right there at the wire most of the time. Number 1, Free Flay, is dropping into a competitive situation after following his 20-condition claiming victory at the distance. Comes back, and he chases and tires. That's against state-bred optional claimers going 6.5 furlongs, and it was a good track that day. So I think Free Flay has got a chance to take that positive step forward, and I think this one is a little bit of a price. Well, third choice on the board at 6-1. Of course, the Hero Tiger in there on the line is a pretty big favorite. I think the 11th and final race is so wide open this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claiming, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. And that's why I went with the number 10 horse, Fabiola Princess, who's 12-1 on the morning line. She turns back to 5 furlongs. She chased the pace last time out, and she finished 6th. I think that was a stamina-tweaking outing going a mile in the 16th. Antonio Sano, Lionel Reyes, one of my favorite long-shot riders, handling what I like to call the classic turn-back move. So, and got a positive return of investment with horses turning back, Antonio. So we'll see how this horse runs this afternoon at a bit of a price. The number 8, Defended, I think figures prominently in here after coming off the solid turf debut in which she set the pace. She finished 3rd at this level and distance. Dave Fawkes is going to team up with Chantal, and David Fawkes' barn also just really perking up over the last couple of weeks. And then another bomber in here. What was this horse on the price? 15-1, Syllabus. This one almost pulled off the 78-1 shocker when she recovered from a slow start. She finished 4th behind the horse we just talked about, Defendant, last time out. I think she's worth the flyer. Or, as long as you get a good price on it, I think you throw her on the board. There are tries, there are supers. You don't have to just go for the win with this horse. So we'll see how it plays out in race number 11 with the 10 Fabiola Princess, the 8 Defendant, and Syllabus. Got bombers in there. Also used the 5 on my ticket, Senorita Salsa. Horse I'll talk about when we come back after Peter Aiello gives you the scratches and changes. But before that, we take a break, come back, get a really nice lightning round this afternoon.
Start winning at the races with Daily Racing Form's new Mobile Pass Performances. Access the most trusted information in horse racing, including exclusive buyer speed figures and DRF analysis and selections. Experience the new mobile optimized DRF Pass Performances on your phone from anywhere at any time. Go to drf.com/now. Use coupon code NOW to get a free single card and get the power of DRF in the palm of your hand.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, our final segment, ever popular lightning round, and we're going to go back and revisit a couple of our stakes winners yesterday. And the first one we'll look at is Summering, who wins the North Bay Village for Glen Hill Farm and Tom Proctor. And this horse, Even Money, and certainly looked the part yesterday, was very impressive through the stretch, ridden by Khyber Coast. So Summering, just a good performance in every. I don't know if Khyber rode that one. I think he rode another one of their winners. They actually had two winners, Tom Proctor and Glen Hill Farm, on the card, but that was the North Bay Village. And then one of my favorite horses that ran here, Mean Mary, is retiring. She won the Grade 3 La Proviante here. She won the Orchid Handicap, and she was just a great horse. She was a perfect three for here, and I think this horse had a great future ahead, but that's not the case. But retiring, no problems with the horse. Will be a broodmare very soon, so congratulations to all the connections there. Going back, what a great race this horse race was. We had a couple of Gulfstream alumni, knocking heads together in the Grade 3 turf sprint at Kentucky Downs, and it was Gear Jockey and Diamond Oops, one of our favorites here. And Diamond Oops, has really got a battle. It was no. Gear Jockey was going to win it, but looking second, it was close. But when the smoke cleared, Diamond Oops got paid, I think, $20 to place in there. And Gear Jockey in that race, I got a 104 buyer I was looking at this morning. And as I said, Diamond Oops, of course, trained by Patrick Pincone, paid, I think, $19.80 to place. So have you looked at the old Gulfstream Park past performances? You got the old Gulfstream Exactor in there. Boom, bombs away in the race in the sheer drama, and we're going to go back and revisit this race and talking about a great performance. And of course, I was cheering to actually pick this horse as one of my long shots yesterday. I was screaming like you wouldn't believe, and that is Starship Bonita blows up the tote board and beats her stablemate Starship Nala and pays $71 to win the sheer drama. Steve Dwoskin, as we mentioned, he's been on fire lately, so good to watch him. And that horse was just a great story. The last time that horse won was in 2018. What did that horse do? Won the sheer drama. Had not won in 3 years until that day. So thus the $71. So that is the lightning round. That is all we got for you right here. Going to turn it over to Pete Aiello. He'll give you the scratches and changes, and I'll be back throughout the afternoon giving you some useful updates. I hope, at least.
And they're off. Second in the two path.